Have you ever stopped to wonder why it's so hard to be productive? And not only be productive, but to actually get things accomplished. Like we write these very elaborate daily to-do lists, and then at the end of the day, we realize we haven't really done anything on the list. I don't know if we're just distracted or if we are adding stuff to our plate that we know realistically we'll never have time to get to. But what if that wasn't the case? What if you could actually start your day with a plan, figure out the things that you need to accomplish, set aside the time that you know you have to devote to the work, and then just move forward? If you want to know more about my essential time management tips, stay tuned. Welcome back to another video. So today's video is all about time management and why it's so challenging for us to maintain some level of productivity that certainly is not toxic productivity, but just our ability to manage our time and get things done once we decide that we actually need to get something accomplished. So today I want to talk about my top 3 most essential tips when it comes to effective time management. All right, so let's jump in. All right, so here's my first one. And I think it's really simple. Be very clear about what it is that you need to accomplish. And by clear, I mean, make sure that you understand what the goal, the outcome, the objective is of the thing that you're planning to get done. And that can't happen inside of your head. Realistically, to make sure that if we're going to spend time on any kind of activity, sometimes we need to write that down. We need to fully see in front of us what it is that we are trying to accomplish. Make sure that we have whatever tools or resources or supplies or whatever the case is. If you're trying to bake a cake, do you have all the ingredients? God forbid I have been down that path for getting ready to make a dinner or prepare a dish or something. And because I did not write those things down in the grocery list or whatever, I'm trying to wing it. I messed around and essential ingredients were not in my grocery bag. And so now I got to go back to the store or wait for somebody else to be available. So just make sure that you really understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So that's my first tip. Be clear about the goals, the objective, and the intended outcome for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So my second point is only start what you know you can finish. Time management is all about the effective use of the time that you have to be able to get the task done. So when you are planning an event, when you're planning in your schedule, are you thinking about the things that could come up that are potential inconveniences? Traffic, resources, access, people, other people's schedules, availability of products or goods or whatever the case is. Do you think about all of those other things when you are setting yourself up to complete something in a certain amount of time? And again, just being realistic about the amount of time that you have to devote to doing certain activities. And I know, because I'm one of those people that often feels like I'm the only person who can do something because it's in my head. I know what needs to be done and all of that wonderful stuff, which is why it's really important to make sure that first you purge, free yourself, get that stuff out on paper so that you can see what it is that you need to accomplish. And then how much time can you devote to actually getting that stuff done? And then how do you make up time? Can you delegate? Can you leave earlier? Can you order ahead? Can you, hire out? Things like that. How do you make up for time and be able to get those different tasks and different activities done within the time that you've allowed? And if you can't do any of those things, then do not burden yourself with more work than you know that you can accomplish. Because here's the problem. Here is the big red flag. You pack a bunch of stuff on your schedule to do today. You know that you don't have time to do it today. And that stuff now has to spill over into tomorrow. Now you're mad that you really didn't get all the stuff that you wanted to do today done. But now you've also added today's stuff onto tomorrow's schedule. So now there's stuff that you had planned for tomorrow that you probably won't get done because today ran over. If you do not have the time, do not commit, period. All right, so this is my last tip for this. And I think this is a really big one. This is something that someone said to me years ago, and it has stuck with me, and it tends to govern how I plan a lot of activities. Inspect what you expect. And that simply means that you need to slow down and take time and check your work. Make sure that after you have gotten your list of things that you need to accomplish out on paper, you clearly understand the goals and objectives. After you have delegated those tasks, after you have planned to order and outsource as much as you possibly can, now you need to make sure that things are tracking along the way that you expect them to, that the outcome and you're on track for the goals, the objectives, that it's starting to shape up and look exactly how you envisioned it in your head. If it doesn't, please don't keep moving forward in dysfunction. If it's not looking like what you anticipated, slow down and figure out where things have gotten off the rails. There is nothing worse than you trying to rush through stuff, you trying to cram through a lot of activities, or omitting things that you probably need to include in your process and not adding them because you've run out of time or because you forgot those steps earlier. And then you realize when you finally complete whatever it is that you started, that something is missing, or it's done the wrong way, or I can't bake a cake because I forgot the eggs, or I can't, whatever it is, right? Because something has been omitted. If you are not checking along the way, these things that are amiss will be missed. And time management is now in the trash simply because you were able to complete the task. However, you completed it incorrectly. There are some essential pieces that are not there. And now you have to go back and start all over, or pick up from where something made the most sense or when it was done properly. So even if you gain time by rushing through it, mistakes and errors and all of those things, now you've got to do rework. And that's never fun either. Frustrations and distractions happen when mistakes are introduced into our process, when we really don't honor ourselves or our time and plan effectively and plan accordingly, when we do not just slow down. I don't know why we're in such a rush. I really have no idea. Especially when we want stuff done right. Usually you want things done right the first time. That takes a little bit of time and patience. When we don't have patience, like as a society, our attention spans is like 2 minutes or less. There's not a lot of fruitful activity that can happen in 2 minutes or less. Sound bites are really not the full story. So we really have to slow down and make sure, one, we're able to get our ideas out on paper, make sure that we are able to create a full picture. Two, we really need to be able to be respectful of ourselves enough to make sure that we can commit to the things that we've already said that we need to accomplish. We have the time, and we're only doing what we have the time to do. This idea of stretching ourselves and spreading ourselves too thin gets nothing really done well, right? The goal is to be able to do things right the first time, not to do it and then go back and fix it and keep adding to it and keep adding to it. Do it right the first time and be done with it so that you can live your life. So again, do the brain dump, clearly articulate what it is that we need to accomplish. Make sure that we are only doing what we know we can finish in the time that we have available, not overworking, not overstressing ourselves, not getting distracted and overwhelmed because we're frustrated, delegating as much as possible, hiring out, and just using our resources to make sure that we can accomplish the task. And then we're slowing down to inspect what we expect. We're checking our work and making sure that what we were planning to do, the way that we envisioned it, it's actually turning out and it's looking exactly like what we planned. The goal is never toxic productivity. And what makes productivity toxic, what makes time management and planning toxic, is when you're doing it in resistance, in stress, it's no longer comfortable, and you just feel overwhelmed. And the feeling of just doing it to say that you've done something is just insane. Productivity implies that you've created something, that you've built something, that something has been established. And if you're not able to get anything done because you're stressed and distracted, you're not motivated, then you're not producing anything. It's just creating a problem. So slow down, check your work, make sure that you're only doing what you can do in the time that you have available. Make sure that you have a full understanding of what the goal is. All right, so if you watched this entire video, shout out to you. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video. Also, leave me a comment and let me know some of your time management and organizational challenges. And finally, if you stuck here for the entire video, then by all means, you like what's happening. So subscribe to the channel, share the video with somebody that is struggling to stay organized and to just stay motivated. We will talk to you soon. And I thank you so much for watching. Bye, y'all.